Welcome to What a Creep, the show with Margot Donahue and Sonia Mansfield talking about creeps from the past to the present.
This is your quick guide to the biggest creeps, jerks, assholes, and losers, the best of the worst.
From two nice ladies who want the world to be a little less creepy.
Welcome back to What a Creep. This is Margot Donahue, and my cohort in creepitude, as always, is the amazing Sonia Mansfield. Hey, Sonia.
Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. I call us cohorts, even though there's just two of us.
That's okay.
I'm just very rebellious that way.
I think it's fine.
We are the podcast that talks about creeps from the past to the present. We're talking about a creepy company today, but fear not if this is your first time listening. We always end the show with somebody who's not a creep to leave you feeling really good about the world. Our social media is as follows. We do have a basic Facebook page, and we tell you this because if we don't tell you this, we get complaints. We have a basic Facebook page where people go to complain about our language. We use salty language in this program.
Fuck yeah.
But if you want to interact with us, we're much more interactive in our Facebook group. And you just type in What a Creep, Podcast Creep. You do have to answer a couple of questions because we've had some problems with people. We don't want a problematic Facebook page that we have to shut down. That would be shitty.
If you act like a creep, we will kick you out.
Yes. We are on Twitter as long as that still exists at CreepPod because somebody had What a Creep on Twitter for 10 years and never used it.
Creep!
I just looked up an old post, by the way, Sonia, on Facebook, and someone says they get upset when they hear us say that because they think the person may have died.
Oh.
It's like, never occurred to me. I've started social media handles and did nothing with them. Like when I first started getting Twitter, I had like a few. I was going to do one as like Goldie Hawn in one of her movies. I was going to be Joanna. What was that movie she did with Kurt Russell with Overboard? I was going to do one about her. But anyway, we're also, but Instagram, Threads, and what else, Sonia? We're on
Instagram, Threads. You already said Facebook. We're not on Blue Sky yet, but we will be as soon as we get those codes.
So please follow us on those places, What a Creep Podcast. And also our old-timey email is whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com. And if you would like some stickers, let me know. Give me your address. I will drop them in the mail wherever you are on the planet of Earth. If you happen to be listening to this tomorrow on Saturday, I will be in Coney Island at the Makers Fair. Come by and say hi to me.
That's exciting.
We'll see. My expectations are all over the place there. Sonia, we're working on our website, right?
So I haven't been able to update the website in a little while. There's something going on with WordPress.org. If you know shit about WordPress.org, email us because I could use a little help. If not, I'm going to be moving it to another server and it's going to be fine because it'll still be whatacreeppodcast.com, and that's where you'll usually find everything you want to know about our show, but we're afraid to ask. We have links to all of our past episodes, and in each of those blog posts are our show notes. We source every single thing we do. We're not making this shit up. We want to give people credit for the work that they do. And if you're looking to do a deeper dive on any of our creeps, that's a great place to start. You should do that. There's also a link to our Substack where I post every month our newsletter. And there's a link to our merch shop, where you could get t-shirts and tote bags and face masks and all the good things. The shirts are super comfy. I got one a couple of weeks ago and I love it. It says the high road can get fucked. It's dope. There's also a link to our Patreon page. You want to tell them about that, Margot?
Yes, Patreon. I want to thank David, Bowman, Tanya, Natalia, Natalie, or Natalia, Jennifer, and Claudia, all of you for signing up. We put our first 8 seasons up on there, and then we also put out 2 bonus episodes a month, and it really helps us with the costs of the show. So thank you all of you so very much for signing up for that. I think that's it. Did we get to everything?
I think.
Oh, iTunes. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Really quick. I want to thank Yo-Yo Toto in Great Britain for 5 stars.
Great names. Great names, y'all.
Claire Fisher, 5 stars in iTunes, and Ikbanrose, all in iTunes. They give us 5 stars. We really appreciate it. Spotify, you can leave reviews now. You just have to ask, you ask and I just approve it. If you write something shitty, we probably won't approve it, but unless it's amusing, and then What do I care? All right.
Yeah.
Sonia, what are we talking about today?
We are going to be talking about Ashley Madison. Do you know what Ashley Madison is?
Yes, because they used to do commercials on the Howard Stern
Yes.
show, and the jingle was, I want someone other than my wife, other than my wife,
Other than
other
my
than my wife.
So fucking gross. I used to mix it up with the hair color company all the time, which I
Oh, that's Madison Reed.
all the time.
That's
I'm
what
like,
I use.
He's into Ashley Madison, the hair color company. No, that's the cheating thing. Oh,
He has to do his roots every 2 weeks.
I'm like, I don't know. That sounds okay. Like, what's the problem? No. Well, let me list the sources. Here we go. Sources for this episode, again, because we source everything we do. And the Ashley Madison Affair, which is on Hulu, the BBC, the Daily Beast, Den of Geek, Forbes, Guardian, Reuters, whatever. Reuters, thank you. Vice, Wired, and of course our good friends at Wikipedia, trigger warnings, adultery, and a very brief mention of suicide for folks. So take care of yourselves. Ashley Madison is a website for people in committed relationships who are looking to have an affair. They had the slogan, "Life is short, having an affair." So right off the bat, this website's kind of creepy. Okay. Like, these are people who have made commitments and they are stepping out on those commitments. And I'm not going to lie, I have thoughts and feelings about people who have extramarital affairs, who cheat on their partners. But if you're a long time listener to the show, you know I have a low tolerance for that sort of thing. But I don't know these people, and I don't know what their relationships are like, and I don't know what they're going through. So I am going to try to lead with compassion here. I am going to try. So this episode isn't just going to be me shitting all over people that use Ashley Madison, although it's tempting. I won't be doing that, but I think we all know how I feel about this sort of thing. So Ashley Madison started in 2002. They landed on the name Ashley Madison because those are the two most popular baby girl names that year.
But, do you remember when every little girl was Ashley or
Yes.
Madison or Taylor?
Yes.
Oh, my God. It was ridiculous.
I have some Ashleys and some Madisons in my life. Yes, it is.
And Brooklyn's,
Yes.
too, now. Brooklyn became
Brooklyn's,
really popular a few
and
years
for
ago.
boys, it was the Aiden, Jaden, Braden. And still, you could go to a park and yell, like, Aiden, and like 5 kids will turn around. Like, it is insanely popular. But Ashley Madison. So those were the most popular girl names, and they named their company for extramarital affairs after that. Seems
After babies.
Yes, because it's fucking gross. But whatever, man. Whatever. You do you. So they launched in 2002. From January to August of that first year, they grew from 60,000 subscribers to 550,000 subscribers. Actually, I should call them members. They're members. They were, I assume that cheaters were like really excited that they didn't have to pretend to be single anymore on like Match or eHarmony. So they immediately signed up for this other site. And it was always controversial. Like, a lot of networks didn't want to carry their ads. They tried to take out an ad on the Super Bowl, and they were like, no, thanks. And the Super Bowl will take Viagra ads. Like, they'll
take Scientology,
yeah, they'll take
Sonia.
Scientology. They'll take, really messed up commercials, but they wouldn't touch Ashley Madison. Yeah.
Their players
But
would.
the players would, for sure. There are a lot of them were probably members. So their big thing was they did do like the Howard Stern show. They took out billboards all over that were pretty suggestive and had a lot of puns and a lot of, kind of things like that on it. And the big thing was they cashed in on the scandal of the New York governor, Elliot Spitzer. He had an affair on it. He cheated on his wife. And then Ashley Madison took out this full page ad in the New York Post that was like, haha, you paid for sex. You should have been using Ashley Madison. And it made like national news, and it was everywhere, and like really really put Ashley Madison on the map with people who don't listen to Howard Stern and haven't seen their billboards. So the ad was the idea of Noel Bitterman, and Bitterman, it's like it's not bitter, it's DD. So BIDERMAN.
Like an auction bidder?
But 1D. Okay. Anyway.
Which is 1D.
He was born in Toronto, Ontario. He's a former lawyer and a sports agent. And he was the CEO of Avid Life Media, which was the parent company of Ashley Madison. So he was the top dog. And once they took out their full page ad, Ashley Madison's everywhere, and he would go on every talk show that would possibly have him. So like all the talk shows, The View, your Maury Povich, your fucking Tyra Banks, Larry King, The View, and he would show up and talk about like, you know, hey, people are going to cheat. I just make money off it or whatever. And routinely booed on these talk shows, by the way. He would show up and people were like, boo, but he didn't care. He just like loved it. He just ate it up. Like, yes,
all publicity.
Yeah, exactly.
Publicity. Yeah.
Exactly. And he would go on there and he would just say things to like make people more angry, and then more people talk about the site, and then more people sign up for the site. So like he would go on there and say that if wives put on weight, like that's a legitimate reason for a husband to cheat. You know, he would say that his site isn't promoting infidelity, which it does, but whatever.
Yeah, it's the whole point.
Yeah,
of it.
he says, we're just a platform. No website or 30-second ad is going to convince anyone to cheat. People cheat because their lives aren't working for them. You're just making it easier for them.
Right.
You know, I'm like, whatever. He would even say things like, you know, actually, Ashley Madison is saving marriages because it's granting people an outlet for feelings and urges that would lead to divorce. I'm like, no, this probably led to divorce, but sure, if that's what you need to tell yourself to sleep at night. So he would also like, his wife would join him sometimes in these interviews. So he would just be like, see, like, I'm not a cheater. I just happen to run a company that makes it easier for everyone else to cheat on their spouses, but not me. I don't.
I have a wife sitting next to me. I couldn't possibly be a cheater.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he would say like, oh, if I found out my wife was on there, I would be devastated, and, you know, all this stuff. And he's real creepy. So I'm going to explain how Ashley Madison works a little bit. So it doesn't work like other apps. It's not like men and women pay and you like swipe, you know, left or right or whatever, which wasn't really the vibe on these dating apps at the time. I guess you could call this like it's not really a dating app. It's like a fuck app. I don't know what you would call it, but anyway.
Isn't that Tinder?
Yes, Tinder, Grinder, or Grinder.
Grinder. Sorry, yeah.
They all are. It's fine.
Yeah.
By the way, there's apps for everything now. Like if you want to like, if you're like into like swinging or whatever, you could do like, I think there's one called like Playing the Field, and there's like all these other, so there's apps for everything now, but they're used to not be. So on Ashley Madison, you buy credits. It's not like a monthly subscription. You buy credits. So like a conversation between two members has to be initiated by the man. So it's kind of the anti-Bumble, if you will. The man has to initiate, and he has to like pay for credits to talk to women. And then once the conversation starts, you know, it's just fine. But like men have to pay for credits. This was a big deal. This is going to come into play here in a second. So a lot of women were basically using the app for free, but men had to pay. Okay. At its peak, Ashley Madison claims to have had 32 million users. That's a lot of affairs. It's a lot of affairs. But it turns out a lot of those numbers were inflated. And there weren't nearly as many women on the site as men were led to believe. And we know this because in July 2015, Ashley Madison was hacked. And I remember hearing about the hack, and I was like, fuck those people. Like, you get what you get, and a little part of me still thinks that, but I'll go on here. So a hacker group called the Impact Team, announced, we have hacked into your system. We have all your sensitive user information. And that includes Ashley Madison, and then there are other sites. There's one called Cougar Life. And another one called
Cougar Town.
And there was another one called Established Men, which I don't know what that one's about, but I think it might be maybe rich guys looking for sugar babies. I don't know. So the hackers, the group or a person, we don't know who did it. Spoiler, we don't know who did it. Said they did this because they wanted Ashley Madison and to shut down its site and all of its associated sites. And if they refuse to do this, they're going to release all this information. And this includes customers' profiles. So it's the messages, the fact that they were on the site, their credit card information, their real names, their addresses, employee documents, emails, photos. There were so many dick pics, and they're going to release it all. Kind of a big deal when your company is based on infidelity and discretion, that they're going to release.
Yeah, that you're supposed to be a trusted site.
And
that's what you pay for.
Exactly. And there's a certain expectation of privacy when you use a site like this. Ashley Madison didn't shut down, and the hacker group did exactly what they said they were going to do. And obviously, a lot of lives were ruined. So I watched the Hulu documentary series, and there's footage of people who were calling into a radio station and asking, is my partner on the list? And then they would look up for these people if their partner was on the list. And then they would get the live reactions basically from these people if their partners were on the list. It's really sad.
That's gross.
Yeah, look, again, I could be fuck these people, they're cheaters or whatever. But the real victims here are the people who they didn't sign up for this. They made the mistake of trusting somebody who did this to them. And now their shit is very public. Maybe don't call into a radio station, but still, you know what I'm saying. It did lead to some divorces, obviously. And it, ruined a lot of families. And some people committed suicide, which is really...
Died by suicide.
Thank you. Died by suicide. Sorry, everybody. That's an old newspaper thing there. Died by suicide. And that is fucked up. And it gave all kinds of scammers and blackmailers access to that information. So a lot of people got blackmailed for this. And that's fucked up. Again, there was an expectation of privacy here that they didn't have. And that's problematic as fuck. I don't care. I care that these people were cheating on their partners, but I also care about what companies do with our data. I joke all the time about I don't care. TikTok can have my data because I want to watch, cute dog videos or whatever. But I do care, and this is a big deal. So there were a few notables who were impacted by the hack. Very famously, we already did an episode on this one. Josh Duggar from 19 Kids and Counting was in the Ashley Madison system. A Christian YouTuber named Sam Rader was also in there. Florida State Attorney Jeff Ashton, he was the prosecutor on the Casey Anthony murder trial, was in there. Yeah. There was a Louisiana GOP official and Donald Trump admin, Jason Doré, was on there. He claimed it was all for opposition research.
Oh, sure.
Sure, Jan. I literally wrote sure, Jan. Josh Teekman Do you know who this is?
Takeman, yes, because Kristen Takeman was on Real Housewives of New York, and he wasn't a very likable guy.
Yeah.
I always thought she was sweet, but he was a dick. And then this this sucks. I think they're still together, though.
They are still together. And it turned out that Noel Baderman himself was in there. He wasn't just an owner; he was also a client, y'all. There was all kinds of personal emails detailing numerous affairs throughout his marriage, and I can't the deal. He's still married, by the way. They are still married. They have 2 kids, and I'm like, I don't know what to say to his wife. I guess mad props for sticking it out. Like,
it's her choice.
Yeah, it's her choice. She went on these talk shows with him where he was like, I would never, and he made her a public face of their company. And it turned out he was stepping out on her. And I'm like, that is fucked up. Like, she must have been humiliated. And I feel bad for her in that regard. So again, all the private data is released. It's pretty bad. But there's a little bit more to the story, of course. So there was a service on Ashley Madison in which you could pay to have your information scrubbed from the website. Before the hack. So you could pay a $20 full delete, quote unquote, option. And that's where it removes your profile, all your messages, your site usage history, any identifiable information, photos, everything. You pay the fee and it deletes all your shit. It did not.
Oh, shit.
So they collected all this money from people and they did not do that. They didn't delete anything. It was all available and it was all part of it.
So you meet somebody after you're on Ashley Madison. You're like, okay, I met somebody great. I don't need to do this shit. I'm going to delete this app. Or you made up with your spouse or something. Yeah. And this was an anomaly. You just did something bad and okay, let's just delete this all. Forget it ever happened. Yep. And then you paid your money and they didn't do it. And now you're fucked.
Yes, exactly. Okay. And there were stories of like a reporter who's like, I was doing a story on, why women cheat. And he's like, I set up this account and I was talking to women. He's like, and then my data's released. Like, that makes it look like he was having an affair. Or dudes that would sign up their friends as a joke, or something.
Oh,
I'm like,
God.
It's fucked up. Funny. Like, that's not fun. It's not funny. I'm like, or maybe it wasn't a joke. Maybe they're just saying that. But like, it could have been. It could have been. I'm not above maybe signing up people I don't like for things to spam their email. Maybe I've done things like that in the past. I'm just saying it's a thing. So Gizmodo actually went through all the data. And on top of all of this that I've already shared, they had over 70,000 bots.
Oh, Jesus.
All women, quote unquote, pretending to be women that would send messages to male users, encouraging the men to buy credits to talk to these women. And they're not real women. They're bots. So that's really fucked up. It was a way for them to scam money out of men. It was a way for them to inflate their numbers. I don't feel sorry for these dudes, but at the same time, I'm like, when you're signing up for an app for dating or whatever you want to say Ashley Madison is, there should be a guarantee that you're talking to a real person. Like, that's pretty fucked up. So on August 28th, 2015, Biederman steps down as the CEO. Apparently now he's working for a Toronto-based software company called Avenue Insights. It's on his LinkedIn page, and his wife and him are still together.
All right.
One of the other things he did that was super creepy was, and this all came out in the hack too. There used to be a website called. It was started by a disgruntled user, and it was just called AshleyMadisonSucks.com. And I'm like, good name. I like it. So, and he bought the domain and he would post on the site, and then he was like collecting stories from other people that were, using the site and not getting results, or were talking to bots or whatever. This is before the hack. This came out during the hack, but the Ashley Madison tried to shut down the website, which that's not that surprising. They took it to the courts. They tried to sue the website owner. They tried to buy the domain off of him, and he was like, no, fuck you. And here's the thing. The owner of the website, like, he still had the website, but he had like moved on. He had like a girlfriend, like, but he still like ran the website because he thought it was funny or whatever. I don't know. And the company just started harassing him and the girlfriend. They were receiving threatening emails from Ashley Madison people, including Biederman. There was like threatening violence if they didn't take down their website. There's a recording of a phone call between Biederman and the owner of the website where he's threatening him. At one point, someone at Ashley Madison set up a fake email account to make it look like they're the website owner and sent a message to the girlfriend saying, like, you should get tested for HIV because I've been cheating on you, and like tried to break up his relationship with his girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
And then they contacted the owner and his girlfriend and said, we are going to destroy your reputation, and we're going to like humiliate you and your mutual friends if you do not take down this website. Like, it was bananas. Someone created a fake Facebook profile to gather like more personal information about him and the girlfriend and their friends. They were going to start coming after their friends.
Holy shit.
So eventually, Avid Life Media paid that website owner and his girlfriend $70,000 each to make it go away. And then they paid like $5,000. That's all for Ashley Madison Sucks. And then what they did was they turned it into an SEO farm. So if you know anything about SEO, like you use a bunch of keywords to like attract a certain amount of traffic. And so that's what they were doing. So all these posts that this guy had written, like Ashley Madison is a scam, they changed it to, is Ashley Madison a scam? Are they a fraud? That sort of thing. And then they had quote unquote real users talking about like, it really does work. And I did get to have an affair, or if their hookups didn't work out, it was all their fault, not the service, and all this stuff. It was just, it's so fucking assy and stupid and gross. So after the hack, customers filed a $576 million class action lawsuit, but they wanted to do it anonymously. And Ashley Madison was like, you have to name yourselves. You have to identify yourself. So a lot of people didn't want to sign up to join the suit because then you're confirming that you were on the site. And now, again, all your information is very public again and in court records.
Yeah, and I can see that sucks.
Yeah, so a lot of people didn't sign up. Eventually, Ashley Madison paid about $11 million to the people. There were 37 million users who joined the class action lawsuit, so they got about $3,500 each.
Ay.
The company still exists, by the way. They've rebranded themselves from Life is Short, Having an Affair to Find Your Moment. I'm like, sounds boring. They say that they have 60 million members on their website. And they claim they have an independent firm that verifies that they are bot free.
Okay.
I'm like, if you say so. They're now claiming also that they create up to 1 million affairs every month.
Aw.
Isn't that great? What a happy ending.
Heart emojis.
1 million affairs every month. So gross. The whole thing is gross, but that is Ashley Madison.
Good job,
Thank
Sonia.
you.
How much was it to join?
Good question. I actually don't know. Let's look it up right now. Let's see. Ashley
Okay.
Madison price. Let's see. A basic membership plan is $59
A month or a year?
a month.
Yikes.
That's kind of expensive, actually, isn't it? Because, like,
yeah, that's
I would
crazy.
think your girl isn't on any dating sites, but I did drunkenly sign up one night and then the next day deleted it. So I didn't pay, but I think it's like 30 something a month for like a Hinge or a Bumble. You could also get like that comes with 100 credits. They still do the credit.
So it's like 100 minutes. 100
I
minutes,
guess,
excuse me?
yeah. And then there's like an elite program that you could sign up for that's 1,000 credits, and that's $289. That's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. And then there's the classic one is you're splitting the difference there, 500 credits, and it's 169. 69, dude. So it's kind of expensive, but you're having an affair. So how do you hide that kind of money from your spouse?
I mean, you must have a credit card that they can't see,
Right?
that they don't have access to, right?
I guess so. Ugh.
That's how a lot of people used to get caught, was their credit cards. Do you want to hear about someone who's not a creep?
Oh my
Sonia?
God, please.
This one's going to be short and sweet as well. It's a case of two Drews. We talked about the SAG-AFTRA strike, WGA strike, Writers Guild strike. And Drew Barrymore put out her talk show, even though she had people who were in the WGA were on her staff, and she made this whole big deal of I'm going to own this choice and I'm going to do this thing, and she had no idea. Like, this is a whole different world when we're striking now. The labor movement is very strong, and they have social media on their side, and especially they have writers on their side. This is important. So I think Drew will be fine in the long run. I think she did some damage to her image, and she's got some repentance to do.
I heard some of the writers they did not return.
They did not
None
return.
of them
She had
returned.
3 of them,
Yeah.
and they refused.
Yes.
Yeah, because she crossed the picket
Yep.
line. So I do want to talk about Drew Carey. That's another Drew who I actually was lucky enough to kind of meet. He's an actor. He was on the Drew Carey show.
I used to love the Drew Carey show, by the way.
Oh my God. He's from Cleveland.
Yes.
He also had the Whose Line Is It Anyway? We had the American version that he did. Drew Carey's Improvaganza that he had. He made so much money from the Drew Carey show that he's worth well over $100 million.
Damn.
Also, he is the host of The Price is Right. And that game show money is...
It's no joke.
If you get a hit game show, it's no joke. Yeah. You work like a few hours a month and you make a shitload of money. So during the strike, he set up at 2 different spots in LA. It was Bob's Big Boy, and there's another. I'm sorry, my cat is climbing.
I know,
all
it's
over
so
me.
cute.
Sadie. There's 2 places, Bob's Big Boy and Swingers. These are both. Speaking of swingers.
Hey-o.
But they're restaurants where he would pick up the tab for anybody who carried a WGA card.
That's awesome.
And he started this back in June, and they just had their last amount, like just as the strike was over. And all these he spent $500,000
Whoa.
feeding people. It was over $500,000 that of his money.
Dude, that's awesome. Like, put his money where his mouth is. Like, I actually
Right.
really, really support you.
I mean, and other people have given, like the Spielbergs
Yeah.
gave money. There's people who gave money, because people think, well, what am I going to do? The strike doesn't seem to be ending and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, she had other options. And I think she should have thought about other ways, like to create a fund or a trust for her, her staff or something. Anyway, so Drew was getting all kinds of, you could find him at Drew from TV on X on Twitter. And he wrote, I deeply appreciate all of the love and it was worth every dime. I think he has a spelling error there. But anyway, but if you really want to thank someone for those meals, thank Bruce Helford and the Drew Carey Show writers. They helped make me rich enough to afford it. No writers, no dollars. Simple as that.
Nice.
And I just think, somebody who takes what they have to like help others, no questions asked, just make it easy for people. Just show your card and you could, what are you doing? She's like climbing all over me. Anyway, so that's our not creep this week. Drew Carey.
That's a great...
Go watch The Price is Right.
That's a great story. I had not heard that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I just, a lot of these writers were struggling and a lot of people in the guild were struggling. And it just, just knowing you have at least one good meal coming to you that day.
Yeah.
I mean...
That's awesome.
Because it was that serious. Yeah.
Yeah, it was months. And again, they're striking for a reason. They already didn't make a shit ton of money.
Right.
So it's really hard. People, their lives were impacted. It's not just food. It's, their rent, cars, electricity, all the things. That's
all
awesome.
Things. So, yeah, good for him. Just somebody that puts their money where their mouth is. Well, if you like the sound of our voices, and by golly, why wouldn't you? We also co-host a show called Dorking Out, where we dork out about movies. And Sonia, what are we going to be dorking out about next?
It's one of my all-time favorite movies. We're going to talk about Aliens, 1986's Aliens with Sigourney Weaver. I rewatched it last night. I've only seen it a gazillion times, but I rewatched it again last night. It's going to be so fun. So fun.
It's going to drop a little later than normal, like a day later, just because I said I'm going to be out in Coney Island tomorrow, but I can't wait to talk about it too. That's going to be amazing. All those places I mentioned at the top of the show, send us your recommendations for creep and also for non-creeps. Yes, and we love it when you use the Annie Potts gift. We got one from Ghostbusters. So you don't know what that is. I'm sorry about that. Watch Ghostbusters.
Seriously, October is a great month to watch Ghostbusters if you haven't seen it. It's only a perfect comedy. Come on.
It's fantastic. Sonia, where can they find you?
You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter, as long as that's a thing, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. If you have some Blue Sky codes, we would love to get What a Creep and Dorking Out on there. Send them our way. Mm-hmm. Oh, and TikTok. And I'm also on the TikTok. Where can people find you, Margot?
I'm at Brooklyn Margot on Sky, right? Or on Blue Sky?
Blue Sky.
On Blue Sky. And I'm also there for Twitter. Sorry, Sonia. I'm at Brooklyn Fit Chick for Instagram and for my site. On Threads, I'm at Brooklyn Fit Chick. And I'm on the TikTok at my name, Margot Donahue. Also, I post our show notes on my site, too. So if you are just dying to see our show notes, they're there.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. So in the meantime, stay safe and don't be a creep. Someone other than my wife. Someone other than my wife.
Thank you for listening to us talk about creeps. You can follow us at What a Creep Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
But don't follow us too closely.
You can email us your creepy stories at whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com.
But please keep your dick pics to yourself.